I finished off my work, I left a really nice long tail so that I could weave this in using the same thread without having to rejoin on anywhere. Just saves you ends on weaving in. So like I said, this is going to be for a glove, so I've kind of already used my stitch markers to give myself an idea of where I want to be seaming, but that's not entirely necessary if you're not having to do gaps like I am. So we're going to start on this end. I can undo this. There should, because we've worked, this is a full row, and we haven't done any increases or any decreases, there should be the same number of stitches on this side as they are on this side. So we should be able to seam them going 1, 1, 1, 1 and not worry about sort of running out of stitches or having to increase or decrease. You want to make sure for this instance, when you're seaming this, you want to know if there is a front and a back. I don't really have a front and a back to this work, but if there is a front and a back, you want to have your inside of the work facing out and your outside of the work on the inside. So here we can see the tops of the stitches. They look like little V's, and here's the bottom one. Because we worked into the bottom, there's just one line on the chain where there's just one loop of the stitch at the bottom there. So this is what we're going to be joining. So we start on this end, I catch the outside loop. So we're going to start by catching this outside or the front loop over here. We're going to catch that. We can draw through with the thread. Oops, it's very long because I've cut my tail long enough to go all the way. This car is making noises. And then we find the matching stitch on this other side and we go through that loop. Now we're going to go through this side over here. This is the second stitch. Oops, try not to split the stitch. And then we find this second stitch on this side, which will be this one. And we're going on the front stitch, or the front loop of that stitch, sorry. This tail is getting in the way. You can see we can pull it close like that. Then we go for the third stitch. And we find the third stitch on this side. We give it a tug, that'll be this one. And this is pretty much what you're going to do all the way along. You're going to keep just alternating, going through and making sure you're matching up the same stitches on each side and going through and pulling them tight. So I've gotten to the end where I put this marker in. Now when I put this marker in, I didn't make sure that I was matching up the same number of stitches. I didn't count, it was just kind of a rough estimate. So this is my next stitch over here, and this is the last stitch over here on this side before we get to the stitch marker. So I'm just going to pull that one through, and I'm going to end off my work here because I'm going to then be ending off and then rejoining on this side to carry on. So I'll just show you how you end off. I like to just go through it another time just to make sure that this little part is extra kind of snug, because this is where you're going to get like this opening tension against it, and then you can carry on and weave in your ends. And because we've got the inside facing out, you can do it on this side of the work. So we just move this down, find our stitch legs at the bottom, and start to weave in our ends. if you need a further tutorial on how to weave in your ends, I do have a tutorial for how to do that, but otherwise that is how you seam up your work. I will show you from the inside. Let's turn this inside the right way around. Here you can see this is where we've seamed it up. It's a nice neat finish, and here's where I'm going to continue for the thumb hole. So I hope that this video helped you, and if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below and I will try and get back to you as soon as possible.